Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday, but the solo queue to Rogue series is finished. Last week we put the finale up for season 2 where we hit Rogue, completely solo queue and hit the max rank in Rogue Company. I still want to bring you some educational type content on this day though, so what I've done is I've reignited an old series called Viewer Game Spectates, where I take your gameplays, review them, VOD review them, and give you my tips and tricks based on what I'm seeing in your games, give you a bit more targeted focus, and hopefully other people can look at this, spot their own mistakes that they usually make within it, and improve because of it. So this is going to be the first video, and if you want to know how you can submit your footage, stay tuned to the end because I will go over exactly how you can do that. But now though guys, if you do go on to enjoy the video or you appreciate the educational content coming out from this channel, make sure you drop that like and subscribe. For now though, let's get into it. Okay, so we'll be looking at Insane Shane's perspective, who's a very long time and loyal viewer of mine, and he's posted this gameplay of Icarus. In terms of the rogue selector, I'll go over it very, very quickly. They did ban Lancer, the M team banned Switchblade, and then they've got this very strange set of comps going throughout right now. The bounce nade purchase, I think, is a good first option for Seeker if you're confident you're going to get down with it. The thing with Seeker is his pistol, whilst actually pretty decent currently in his state in the game, isn't necessarily what you want to be relying on as you move into round 2 and 3. So buying a bounce nade if you're confident you're going to get a kill is really, really good. But if you think you may, not win the round or there's a chance, or you just want to play it safe, often opting for a sticky sensor is a much more reserved and better option. Bow comes out, does reveal 2 along the side there, throws the bounce nade on the ground, but they run away. A little bit too quick there with all the utility spam. Just trying to get it out. A teammate is able to pick one off there on the side. And the Demon actually comes through. They're pushing down long really hard here. He does pick up a kill for himself. That's 3 down for a 1 trade, just the Ronin. Focuses the bomb plant. Definitely an okay thing to do, but his teammates are pushing really aggressively. They do pick up the kill, gets a bigger swing on them, and that's it. There was a lot of really, really fast utility usage there in that round 1. A little bit too quick if you ask me. I would take the time to line up the bow properly. You can get a bow angle on there that will shoot it off that post and all the way down long, which gives your team far much more intel. And with the bounce nade, the floor bounce nade is really good usually, but what you don't want is to waste it. And by the time he lobbed it on the floor, the enemy had run away, and we saw that through the reveal. Often taking the time to maybe line up a bounce off the wall would be better there, so that you can have that time to maybe stop if they do run away like they did. So I only tend to use bounce off the floors in very particular situations where I know it's a guaranteed kill and I need to get that height on it. Otherwise, I'll be looking to try and bounce it off a wall somewhere, of which there are a few different options. Picks up the Sahara as his primary weapon for round 2. Yeah, see, like this? Like I appreciate the pre-nade. It's a waste of utility, though, especially when you think about how valuable that is. It's not necessarily something you won't be wasting. So it does opt for a later bow, get some good shots on the Chark. The Chark is in a really bad position, and the team do collapse off of that, gives you covering fire, and gets the down. At this point, I wouldn't necessarily have run to short. I would have played a bit more aggressively to try and help his teammate secure the res. He gets the bomb down though. His teammates poke in from long, and they will pick up that kill. And that's just the Ronin left. He thinks he might be behind. Not 100% sure though. They hear the shooting, finish the kills, and go off. So I like the idea of having the bomb. Honestly, having the bomb in solo queues, which I believe he is here, is probably the better option rather than necessarily going super aggro. But when your teammate goes for a res like that, especially in a vulnerable position like white box, I would potentially just stay and cover that res. Make sure that res goes off rather than leaving him to go and, plant the bomb. Whilst it is a good idea, you want to give that 5 seconds just to cover them getting up. Make sure that they survive and you don't lose another team member, and then you can go for the bomb. Especially when you have so much early control, they're going very, very aggressive. It's pretty useful. So the way I would change up the start of what he's doing here is essentially wait, shoot the bow off the lamppost so it bounces down into the entirety of the longer angle. And don't waste this nade off early. Your nade is your best friend, especially on a close hit map like Icarus. Having that bounce nade is super useful. Doesn't reveal the Ronin, does throw a good bounce nade. Not going to pick up the kill because there's a double kill coming out from their own Dima. And now he's spam pinging that he wants them to plant the bomb. Again, when you got 2 picks like that, honestly, making sure you can go forward and secure those kills is really good. Picks up another one, jumping on the box, good use of the height there. 3 aiming the corner, and at this point, you want to be dipping off the bomb. Good use of the pings to say hey, let's get out of here, let's go plant the bomb. One of his teammates goes aggro, he's going aggro to support, picks up a bounce nade, throws the bounce nade, should get a kill. Again, this is a little bit of a waste of utility here. Of just like, you know, take a second to line up that bounce nade. His teammate does die. He dips off though. And honestly, this should have been the play from the start. Help the Vi get the bomb down. If your team wants to go and challenge a 1v1, he can go challenge a 1v1. If he loses, he loses. If he wins, at least you're sitting there in a 2v1 sort of situation, which is far more optimal for yourself. Decent bow. Not going to really matter though. It doesn't get the reveal. At least lets you know that he's not in his back spawn for the next couple seconds. Does see him down the long. Good use of the ping system. A lot of people do not use pings. Axe comes around the corner. Does manage to evade that. Bit of hip fire will melt him there with that Sahara as well. I like the idea that he's supporting his teammates. When you get that double down, by the way, with the grenade, that is worth pushing off of. If your team is, especially if your team going aggressive on it, it's worth going aggressive too. In terms of upgrade priority, I love Stalker. I love Bounce Back. With the 10k he had there, though, I'd be buying Lifeline. Honestly, you have no res on your team. It's Icarus. Nades come flying at you left, right, and center. Having that lifeline, having that quick res, and giving your team the chance to get back into the fight early is probably better for you than a weapon upgrade in the sticky sensor. Whilst I actually really value the sticky sensor, I think the lifeline purchase there would have been better. I don't think life drain is super high priority right now, but again, that could have been an option as well. Not a bad one. It kind of depends on what kind of play style you feel like you have to adopt. So that lamppost on his left, that's where I'd be firing that. Again, this throw off the floor, yes, it gets to the right location, but is it really worth it? Okay, this is where his teammate goes down, and you kind of wish you had that form of revive. Does get the good beam. Now they're all stuck in short, though. Nade does come out, actually manages to miss. Ronin Knife does see that and evades it nicely. Does get flanked, though. Moves to the flank. The grenade will not pick him up. He will. He needs to get this kill. But does manage to get shot in the back. I don't know where his teammates managed to sneak through long and come behind them, which was weird. He actually managed to get away with that like weird mini flank, but they will go down. Okay, that kind of comes down to exactly what I was saying of if he bought Lifeline there, he dips off, gets that revive on the Dima, gives them a good fighting chance. Vi kind of went in a weird position, but it is what it is. Here I've been getting a double upgrade for my sticky sensors. You have them, having two of them is even better. Put one on your flank, put one to check that corner. I actually really like what he did with the sticky sensor. A lot of people do sneak up to that corner. I do it with a melee weapon a lot to get a free easy kill. So getting the reveal there is really nice, but I would have opted for the double sticky sensor. Just to have one on your flank. You know that the Chark just flanked. It may be worth it, you know? They're looking to go B. He does ping that himself. I'm curious to see how he uses the bow here to sort of open up that avenue. You can shoot the bow from right here, but he is instead running with the bomb out. Not something I would ever recommend. Okay, not really where I'd want that to go. The nade does come in. So be careful of that utility. B is essentially a death trap in terms of being utilitied out. More grenades come through, pick up more kills. Here goes Demon Roll, and that's going to be a round wipe. That's the issue with going B. That's why I don't like going B. You can get grenaded and utilitied so easily as you try and push through there and just stop and force into those little corners. And then when your team has one tenacity on a glitch, it's not really your preferential option. But again, that is really this map in a nutshell. Is just utility spam, and you have to find ways of surviving that utility spam with stims or tenacity or headstrong or things like that, or you survive it through having good revives, of which neither team has decided to opt for here. In fact, there is two tenacities within the entire game. One on Glitch, one on Ronin. Comp-wise, it's not making a lot of sense. In terms of what I think of picking Seeker into this map, I don't think it's a great option. I think it's a very short-range map and he's a very long-range weapon. It's not awful. I don't like that bow spot. You can bounce it off one of the boxes to the right there and get it to shoot back again into their spawn. Like, there's a lot of good bow locations here that are worth looking into, instead of just these, let's get some easy intel. Try and think about how you can get some more complicated intel, some longer intel. That is the right sort of idea of the sticky sensor. I would like it just way lower, because it's not revealing anybody up there. Again, they've gone B, and they've got utility off in that corner. That's one Ronin Knife kill. They've already got a surrender rope coming out immediately from the teammates. Hey, what else are you expecting, Solo Key? Yeah, I think an overarching theme so far that I'm seeing from Shane specifically is just like wasted util. Actually could have picked up the Dima there. I honestly would have tracked for the Dima first. Managed to get a bow kill there. That's definitely a happy moment indeed. Good pre-fire. Just got to be careful here. Back out. He has bounced back, but doesn't matter. They are to pick him up from the side there. And again, this is the death trap that happens when you have B. They have zero smokes available to them, and smokes are so key if you want to make a B push. You have to smoke at that mid. You have to attack it from different angles, of which they're not doing because they don't have the appropriate amount of util to do it correctly. So it's all about looking at what your team has to offer and deciding whether you have the util that matters there. And in which case, in this case, sorry, they don't. So I wouldn't be running B here. I'd be running A. I like that you can play around the longer angles because you have the Sahara. You can bow out that longer angle. You have a bounce nade to get some cheeky kills. They have no trophies to stop you. And every time you've gone A so far, it's gone pretty well for you. Lifeline is the purchase here, by the way. Yes, there you go.
Nice.
Could have had it 3 rounds ago, and that would have been the optimal time for it. But unfortunately, I think there's been some wasted times. I do not think weapon upgrades are super high priority on Seeker. They're good. His weapon is great. But some of the utility that could have been bought, the perks that could have been bought, would have been a bit more high priority. In terms of how I'd be using the util right now, by the way, I'd want Sticky Sensor there on the flank, just to watch for anybody flanking. It's a nice piece of easy intel you can get off right there on that wall. Will do absolutely fine. Bowing, again, off this lamppost and saving the nade. Is that going to get a kill? No, it hasn't got a kill one time. That is $5,000 that has been wasted every single round there because it wasn't used properly. And that's so important. That's like a massive thing. To buy a piece of utility and not have it like be useful, it's kind of counteractive to the point. But again, they've gone A and they've just bullied them once again. They've thrown Vi Poison. They've really pushed them out. They've used the Sahara's longer range there to use that as an advantage. A would have been the play here every single round, if you ask me. I don't know why they rotated to B at any point. I don't think they were really having that down over time, apart from 1 round. Insta-lock on Dima for their team. Again, you can see the Lancer Switchblade bands that I went through. Interesting, we'll see what you pick up here, how he changes up from what he was playing. He's kind of a little bit unsure what he wants to play. He's got good experience in every row, you can kind of see that. Opposite of Vi. Vi is so good on this map. And does lock it. Perfect, cool. This is a really, really good pickup. I love Vi. Dima's obviously great into this map as well. Trench is another fantastic pickup for his team. I'm going to see what the last pickup is. Again here, no res potentially coming out. If I'm this person, I'm picking... I mean, that's not a bad pick, but I would have preferred a res. Again, no res for either team. So now comes the point where you have to look at your strengths compared to your enemy strengths. Your strength is a complete retake comp. You can use or even stopping them planning. Honestly, like, you have so much to stop them planting if you want. You can do either. Personally, I'd opt for the stop them planting idea. You have Kestrel ult, you have Dima ult, you have Vi ult, you have Trench just to keep you alive while you do it. You just have to survive their onslaught of utility, and part of that's going to come down to the Trench using his utility correctly, but also Shane here as a player thinking about what he's doing and how he's positioning to not get caught. But again, is also going to kind of count on his team to play the same sort of role. Looking at the team split, I would have gone mid here. Yes, this position is really great to have, but no one's picking up mid right now. There's potentially a Kestrel coming in from the flank. You got to be careful with that. Nade does come down, and they do get out. Does see the Kestrel, so that's kind of the flank worry gone. But again, someone still could flank, and no one's watching mid. Wasted poison. Absolutely no need to throw the poison there. Good Dima ult, will find 2, and this is where you want to push off that. So you know Chark is going to self-res. Does manage to shoot that down. Their Dima does go down, and actually they're going to stick these revives, and that great Dima ult they had is only forced into a 3v3. Does throw the incense down, will burn his teammate more than anything though. Needed to hit that shot. And we'll see exactly how he tries to play this 1v3 out. But pretty much, like, from what I noticed there, that's just utility. That was 2 pieces of Vi Poison that went down long, but got 0 ticks of damage. He's going to try and play off that kill. Kind of worth it. He can challenge this one. You only have 60 HP, but it's killable. As he saw.
Fight harder next time.
So yeah, throwing that 1 poison down long, then another one down long, throwing the incense in what was really more of a panic than a strategic throw, because if you were strategically throwing it, you would have thrown it further and not at your Kestrel, even though the Kestrel was going to die. What's he going to pick up? He's got 6,500. I'd pick a bounce back here personally. Helping Hands is another viable option. But yeah, again, this is like, as a Vi, you are utility. You are the queen of utility, and using your utility correctly is going to be everything that's important to you. So throwing it in that more spammy fashion, that panicked fashion, is a massive, massive drawback to what I just saw there from Jane. I would have held. I literally wouldn't have thrown. The incense I would have thrown in that situation. But the 2 Vi Poisons I would have still have had in my back pocket by the time I died, because there was no need to have them and use them the way they were used. Good pick off there. Now that's something you can work off but really that's something you should utility to work off. He doesn't have to be here for that reason. If that nade was thrown and cooked properly, they're all dead there. They get another pickup here. Here's what you got to think, right? His team's pushing, so he should push. But realistically, there's no need to push here from any of them. They got one pick on the Kestrel, get beamed down. And suddenly it's a 2v2, and it's actually not looking too good. It's a 1v2 right now, and this is a massive disadvantage. This is just over-aggression coming out from the defensive side. They got a pick, right? Let's see how this plays out. She doesn't have ult. But be careful, and gets beamed.
Run it again.
When they got the pick on the Kestrel, they have a grenade, they have Deemer ult, they have Kestrel ult. They have so many pieces of utility that could secure that kill without any push needed, any threat needed. So, that was just way too much aggression. Shane got caught up in the moment, it looked like, and wanting to push the team, which the aggression they went for, you kind of have to, but that's really down to everybody just being far too aggressive and not thinking about how they could get that secured kill way easier. You have Deemer ult, you have Kestrel ult, you have so many things that could get there without Shane even having to move off of the spot he was on. If anything, Shane should have pushed up to short, thrown a Vi Poison in short, pushed up to that corner, and then supported the team from that angle instead. There's no reason actually he has to go long, especially with 1-2 people pushing long. He just has to stay right here. I'd even pick up mid, just make sure no one's flanking, and then move forwards. They see one over there. They've seen people here. They've got bomb. You gotta think, where am I gonna focus on my mind? I'm focusing bomb. Deemer, way too aggressive there. Once again, put the Vi Poison away. No need to use it. He sees one on the flank there. Only has a pistol challenging a Riptide. Probably not worth it. I'd be spam pinging here, being like, hey, he's coming. Panic throws the second poison. The first poison, while slightly misplaced, is good. The second poison is a missed throw. You don't need it there.
Friendly's eliminated.
And then they get swarmed again. Part of this I'm going to definitely blame on the Deemer being far too aggressive. Again, even though we're spectating Shane's perspective, doesn't mean I'm just going to talk about his plays. The Deemer pushed way too aggressive. The Kestrel pushed far too aggressive up on the B side and got herself killed. This is just way too much aggression coming up from the defensive side that isn't needed, especially when you have a comp like this, which excels at just like waiting for the enemies to do their thing and blowing them up while they do it. So what I'd like to see from Shane here as the change up in his particular playstyle, how I would think of this as a solo queue player, is just focusing on that utility placement. Where are you throwing the utility and why are you throwing it there? Asking yourself that question and not just being like, well, they might come here. On Vi, that's not acceptable. You have to use your utility in the best way possible. He's wanting someone to pick up mid. No one's doing it. They're 3-peeking long. They will not move to pit before you see them. And they throws another panicked Vi Poison.
Deploying utility.
It's unneeded. And there's another panicked Vi Poison. That is, within the first 20 seconds of the round, 2 out of the 3 pieces of utility he has at his disposal gone. Trench is now picking up mid. Trench, I know, deleted is a okay player, so like they're okay. Like he's, you know, I would kind of like trust him to sort of do something there and watch that mid. I think he can kind of cover it. He sees one. That's a super important ping for Shane to pounce off of. He knows someone's still here. He's got a ping from a teammate that there may be one rotating. I would have rotated to him. I would have not let him play for the 1v1. I would have actually, you know, played a 2v1, got the pick, and then come back. Again, that would be assuming you have the util to then maybe retake. But it looks like they've gone B. If Shane had gone off that ping there as a solo queue player, that's what I would have done potentially. You've done it. And now he gets in a spot where he knows where somebody is. He's got an incense to flush them out, but he doesn't have the Vi Poisons. Out of incense left, Vi Poisoned right, forced that Kestrel in a really awkward position where she's a guaranteed kill, and then played what would have then been a 3v2. But without the utility there to do it, they're going to suffer. They're in a bad situation here. He's got 1 kill, still has bullets in the Riptide, in the Nightshade. Should just reload that. And he's got to play a 2v1. He's got the weapon to do it. You're definitely got to play for the Kestrel first. Play her right-hand side, that way the Ronin can't shoot you. Now you've got Ronin involved. Good beams. He's going for a pistol push, not really optimal. The pistol's good, but it's not good enough to win a 2v1 on, even if they are one shot. So, again, I would have just taken time to reload the Riptide there, sorry, the Nightshade, and gone for a fight. But you do what you got to do in the moment, right? Here I'm picking up probably Helping Hands as a weapon upgrade. Tear gas isn't that useful. So far, the biggest takeaway that I'm noticing, and this is so common on every rogue, especially something like Vi, where it's pinpointing so much more, utility. The only panic utility I'm using on Vi here is the one through a short, just to make sure no one can push through there. That gives you and your teammates time to maybe work long, get away from long, whatever it be, without getting punished so hard. That's the only Vi trap I would throw down that early. And even then, I wouldn't throw it. It's a great way of covering your Kestra as well, who's so obviously dying for free. You hear the Demon Roll going off left. You hear the bullets. I'm moving. I'm throwing a Vi Poison on their entrance right there. That is where one Vi Poison will go down every single time. The moment I know they're on B, Vi Poison goes down right where his team is standing right now. That's an okay Vi Poison if you think they're still there. But I wouldn't waste another one anywhere right now. The fact he's not reviving is insane. Shane should jump on that revive. Honestly, I wouldn't trust a Sogi teammate to get that revive. I don't like the current positioning. You see where they both are. Gotta be careful. Wasted incense there. You're peeking on like 20 HP. You could have died there, and you wasted your fire for nothing. Does see one. Good rotate. Does get the kill. Does get the full kill. I would not push this angle without a Vi Poison down. Vi Poison going over the top. Not awful. Can't jump the wall. You hear the Ronin knife. You hear the Ronin knife. Thank Lord. Teammate managed to pick that up. I wouldn't have even approached that angle. I would have thrown the Vi Poison down and gone right to my teammates to push with them, because you know you're not jumping that. When the moment you hear that knife, you know you're not jumping that. Tracker rounds is the next buy. At this point though, they're 5-7 down. They're at one round disadvantage. One round they lose, so they have to be super careful with exactly how they maneuver here. Like, this is one of those games where there's a lot that Shane here could do individually to turn the tides of a round or two. And again, when you're at this point, a round or two is all that makes a difference. I don't necessarily think the amount of rounds lost are his fault specifically, but I do think there's more he could do to pick it up. And a lot of that is just, a lot of it's down to his utility usage. And deciding what is priority and what is not. Does he throw a panic util here? Teammate went down in short. Good Vi Poison. That's a good Vi Poison right there. Do not throw another one. You've got a tripwire there. You do not need to throw a Vi Poison. He's just holding the angle. This is good. Sees them there. Turns out they were going for a res. I would have been there to cover the res potentially, but I kind of get that that wasn't a very obvious res to go down. Threw the fire in. Not necessarily a panic, but again, it's not amounting to anything, right? Your fire is like your best util. Good Vi Poison. Throw the tear gas. Now pressure the angle. Right, the tear gas was a little bit short. It should be on that box. That's not a lot of HP to be on. Bounce back will restore him a little bit. Lita does go down. Needs to get this kill real quick. Does find one. Can find a second. Can't quite get it. And that's going to be the loss. That's going to be the round loss. I assume we might see scoreboard. I hope we can see the scoreboard. Just to have a look at things. There's a 15, 13, 6. Do we see the final scoreboard? I'll see. I think we might get to see it. Let's go along real quick. And we'll have a quick look, and I'll sort of talk about it while we're on this page. Cool. So you can see it. Shane doing 2.5k damage. That's perfectly acceptable. Deleted on 2.2. Whilst he didn't get many downs, he was playing supportive Rowan, Vi, and then Trench. Kind of makes sense. Good damage regardless. And then actually their Demon did really well in terms of downs, but his positional mistakes were kind of apparent, especially from what I saw there. So what do I think needs to go different in that game to turn that from what was a very possible win and what eventually made it into a loss? Essentially, a lot of it comes down to utility placement from basically everybody, but especially Shane with the Seeker, because obviously we saw how he used his utility, so it's easier to explain. The bounce nades on Seeker, every single one of them was wasted. The bows were okay, but didn't amount to a lot of... They weren't like maximized. There wasn't maximized intel that he got from that. When it comes to Vi, panic utility. You can't panic util on Vi. If you're playing Vi, you have to be super confident of how you're using your utility, when you're using it, what angles need covering, why you should only really throw it at one angle, then cover the other one yourself, and maximizing the damage that you're getting from it. Vi benefits so much off taking people's max HP with Vi Poison that when you're just throwing it and not getting any ticks off it like we saw in a couple of rounds, is kind of wasted, even if it does have good zone control. So you should focus a little bit more on how you're using your utility. Realize what it is about your utility that is valuable, where you want to be throwing it, and who you're trying to help by throwing it. Are you trying to stop the enemies pushing, or are you just trying to cover a teammate to get out of a situation? Or even, especially in a map like Icarus, throwing it so that your teammate can move to a position that may be of advantageousness to you. Advantageousness? That's the word. We'll try. Hopefully that explains it. I definitely think this round could have been a win. I do think that his teammates' positioning let him down a lot. Their Kestrel definitely did struggle throughout all the rounds there. Only having 3 downs on a carry rogue is kind of saddening. But again, I thought a lot of the reason, probably the reason they lost more than anything, was they decided to go B for 3 rounds. And I don't think they got 1 round off that. For like 3 or 4 rounds, they went B and didn't achieve anything. When they'd gone A and actually bullied them so hard, they had like really, really won A by just pure aggression that I would have liked to see continue. And they would have got more attack rounds, and then the defense round wouldn't have missed their been so hard, and that maybe would translate to a win. So guys, yeah, the big message to take away from this one is look at what's going right for your team and continue it. And also look at how you're using your utility. Think about why you're using it, how you're using it, and honestly, that's going to be one of the biggest things for you. Don't waste utility, whether a bounce nade, a flashbang, a vi poison. Utility is your best friend in any game like this, especially Rogue Company. So make sure you're using it to the best of its ability. So if you guys want to submit your own gameplays for review and potentially be on this channel, you have to head to my Discord, which will be linked in the description. And essentially there is a room in there where you can submit your viewer gameplays. The way I want them is I would like them in pretty decent quality, HD, so 720p plus. And there definitely needs to be no issues with the audio, with the quality or anything like that. I need the demolition game. It will be demolition type game mode, whether that is unranked or ranked. If you do have ranked available to you, try and get one of those more competitive games in. But if you're pretty new to the game and want newer advice, you can use some of the older sort of standard casual demo games if you so wish. In terms of the game itself, I don't just want a stomp one way or the other. I want to see a pretty decent, somewhat close game that I can look at and really pinpoint strengths and weaknesses of the plays that are being made by both teams. You can include the ban phase and the scoreboard at the end. That'll be preferential. And of course, no copyrighted music or anything over the top. If you're taking it from your own stream, make sure there's not an absurd amount of alerts going off or a lot of graphics on your screen. One webcam is fine. I can use mine to cover it, but anything else may be a bit too distracting for a video. I hope that lets you guys know how to submit some gameplays if you are so interested. Again, the Discord is linked in the description, so go check it out and submit your gameplays just via a link, whether it be YouTube link, Twitch link, whatever it be, Google Drive link. All of that is acceptable. Just go plop it in that channel for me. Okay then guys, that takes us to the end of the video, and if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also come follow me on twitch.tv/RADTHARGAMING, see live gameplay commentaries. I'm also on TikTok, Instagram, and have a second channel, more Radthar, all linked in the description below. For now, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless. I'll catch you in the next